This is the problem based on comparative advantage gained or conceded to opponents based on strategy adopted. Here it is given that Company A and Company B are two rival enterprises operating in the same market segment. Company A can adopt any one of X, Y or Z strategy, and Company B can in turn adopt any one of P, Q or R strategy. The following table gives the payoff to Company A depending on which strategy it adopts and which strategy Company B adopts in response. Positive sign indicates that Company A gains and Company B loses, whereas a negative sign indicates Company A loses and Company B gains. From the table it can be seen that which is given for payoff to Company A. When Company A adopts strategy X and Company B responds to it by adopting strategy P, Company A loses 4,000, and when Company A adopts X and B responds by Q, it loses 5,000, which means there is a gain of 5,000 for A. And similar figure we can check when A adopts strategy Y or Z, similarly B responds. Further, both Company A and B incur costs in adopting any of this strategy, and costs are given in the following table. From the table it can be seen that when Company A adopts X, it incur a cost of 500. When it adopts B, it incurs a cost of 3,000, and similar figures are given for B. And now on the basis of given data we can calculate net payoff, that is gain or loss made by a company on adopting a particular strategy and later on it being responded by the other company, and the costs incurred in adopting this strategy. If we see the net payoff to A by adopting strategy X, given that B responds to this strategy by adopting to strategy P, will be 4,500 as minus 4,000 is gross payoff, and in order to adopt this strategy X incurs 500, so net payoff for Company A when it adopts strategy A and being responded by B by strategy P is minus 4,500. Similarly, we can calculate payoff for A and B, which is shown in the table here. Like when A adopts strategy X and B responds to this strategy by adopting strategy Q, P it gains minus 4,400, which means there is a loss of 4,400 for X, and the same is the gain for B. But it is also known that in order to adopt strategy P, B incurs a cost of 1,400, which means his net gain would be of just 2,600 in event of A adopting strategy X and B responds to it by adopting strategy P, which is shown in the table. Now let's take questions. First question is asking which strategy should Company A adopt such that whatever is company's B's strategy, it will always make a net profit even after deducting the costs incurred. If we look at the table, we can say that there is a strategy with B. No matter what strategy A adopts to gain, as we can check it, when A adopts X and B responds by adopting P, B gains 2600. So no matter what would be the case in adoption of strategy A, there is no way A can ensure that there would be a gain for him. Similarly, we can see for strategy Y, when A adopts strategy Y, B by adopting strategy Q can make a gain of 5000. So again, by adopting strategy Y, A cannot make sure that there is no loss to A. Similar would be the case with strategy Z. Therefore, such a situation is not possible when A adopts a particular strategy and B cannot make a gain, given that he can adopt any of the given three strategy. Coming to the second question, here it is asking a company A has, if company A has very good cash flow and is aggressive and its sole objective is to maximize ratio of its gains to the losses of company B, which strategy should A adopt? Now, if we look at the table, the ratio will be maximum when A adopts strategy X. In that case, he makes a gain of 4500, and B adopts strategy Q, in which he loses 5200. This is the maximum possible gains to loss, gains to A to the loss to B ratio is possible. Therefore, strategy X should be adopted by company A. In this question, it is asking what is the difference between the maximum gain that company B and company A can make. From the table, it can be seen that the maximum gain that company A can make is 4500 and the maximum gain that B can make is 5000. So the absolute difference between these two figures would be 500. Therefore, option A is the correct answer. In the last question of this set, it is given that company A has to act first by choosing a strategy and then company B will respond. That is, company B has an advantage of knowing what strategy A has adopted. In such a situation, which strategy should company A adopt such that the advantage to company B is least? Advantage to company B is defined as the sum of the gain of company B and the loss of company A. If A adopts its strategy X, as we know that B knows what strategy A has adopted, so accordingly B can adopt such a strategy wherein A incurs maximum loss and advantage of company B over A is defined as the sum of the gain of company B and the loss of company A. We know that when company B responds by strategy R, if A has adopted strategy X, its total advantage will be 3200 plus 6500, which we can see from the table. Company B gains 30 to 100 when it responds to a strategy of A, who has adopted X by adopting strategy R, and loss in that case to A is of 6,500. So the net gain or advantage to X instead of X, B will be 3,200 plus 6,500. It is equal to 9,700. When company B adopts a strategy Y, then company B will adopt a strategy Q to get maximum advantage, and advantage in that case will be 5,000 plus 8,200, which is equal to 13,200. In case A adopts strategy Z, then advantage of B will be maximum when it adopts strategy P, and the advantage will be 4,800 plus 7,700, and this is equal to 12,500. From these three figures, it is clear that A should adopt a strategy X in order to give minimum advantage to B. Therefore, option A is the correct answer.